Last week I made a video about making a Pokémon-style game in Inkscape and Godot. Link in the description if you're interested. I got to the point of building a basic town, but not combat or wild encounters yet. And this gives me the perfect excuse to do a tutorial that I wanted to do for a while now. In this video, I want to show you a simple method to easily draw cute monsters in the style of Pokémon or Digimon or whatever other cute monster show you can think of. We'll design 4 Pokémon that could fit as wild encounters on the first route of the game. One last thing, in case you didn't saw the last video, our region has a bit of a Nordic Scandinavian theme to it, so all our Pokémon should have that influence in their design. Okay, let's get started. In most Pokémon games, the first route usually features 2 or 3 types of Pokémon, often following a common pattern. A normal type small mammal, like Rattata, a flying type bird like Pidgey, and sometimes a bug type small insect like Caterpie. I thought to keep the tradition and design 3 Pokémon that fit these types, after doing some research on animals that could fit a Nordic-inspired region. Here's what I came up with. For the normal type, I'll use a lemming. It's a bit challenging because lemmings are very generic looking rodents, so I'll have to push the design to make it interesting. For the bug type, I wanted something that could fill the Caterpie to Metapod to Butterfree role that you see repeated in many Pokémon games. For this, I found an insect called the woolly bear caterpillar, which is really cool because apparently literally freezes in winter and then unfreezes in summer, and continues like nothing. Maybe I can do something with that concept. For the flying type, I wanted to do something more unique. In most Pokémon games there is at least one type of Pokémon that belongs to the same species but have variants, like Nidoran and Nidorina. Well, in Norse mythology, Odin has 2 ravens called Hugin and Munin, which represent thought and memory, so I thought I could make a reference to that and make 2 designs based on that concept. Thought and memory are a bit abstract of a concept to design around, but it should be a fun challenge. Step 1. Reference. Now that we have our concepts, let's start with the system. Step 1 is always the same, gather reference, but here we need 2 types of reference, real world and Pokémon reference. For the real world, you should find at least 5 to 10 images of each animal you are designing. You want to understand the shapes and proportions that makes each creature look unique. Think about the silhouette. You want clear silhouettes with clear poses. You'll see why in a moment. For Pokémon references, it makes sense to collect examples of similar Pokémon designs to what you want, just to know how to stylize certain real-life features. For the lemmings, I gathered references of tiny, chubby rodent Pokémon like Pichu, Morpeko, Bidoof, and Togedemaru. For the Caterpillar, there are very similar concepts already, Caterpie, Weedle, Wurmple, but also Venonate and Larvesta for the spikes. For the Ravens, I gathered flying Pokémon references, especially the Raven type like Murkrow, Hunchcrow, and Corviknight. Step 2. Finding the big shapes. At their core, most Pokémon are simplified cartoon versions of real animals. So here's a nice trick to cartoon a real-life photo of an animal. Pick a reference image with a pose you like, then lower its opacity and trace over, but finding only the big simple shapes of the body. And I really mean simple. Try to use no more than 3 or 4 shapes per creature. Focus only on the major forms, and merge the body parts into single shapes when possible. Of course, avoid any details completely. The goal is to capture the essence of the forms with as few shapes as possible. Just in case it's not clear, we'll take these shapes and play with them to make them a cartoon in the next step. That's the reason why I said in the last step you should pick photos with clear poses. And of course there are some images that you can't do too much about them, like in the case of the Caterpillar. It's really just a simple shape. We'll have to do something interesting during the cartooning phase. Anyway, this is what I got after tracing all 4 images for the 4 Pokemon I'll draw. Step 3. Cartooning the shapes. Now comes the fun part. Take those basic shapes and start modifying them using the object and node tools. Scale them and change their shape so the proportions are more fitting to a cartoon. This usually means making the head bigger and the body chunkier, but not always. Find the shapes that are most unique and exaggerate them to emphasize certain elements. Very important, make multiple variations. Don't do a single version and leave it at that. Exaggerating different parts will result in different designs that communicates different things. It's very useful to have a list of the previous versions so you can see what worked and what didn't. This can be subtle modifications of the real body or something more extreme. But do keep in mind that in the Pokémon-Style, most of the cartooning tends to be more on the subtle side. I would recommend you to make at least 5 to 10 variations. The more you do, the more you have to pick from. And if you're feeling ambitious, you could repeat this process with more than one traceover, to have even more options to pick from. And here are all the variations I made for the 4 Pokémons I'll be drawing. And these are my favorites of each Pokémon, and the ones I'll be using to move on to the next step. Step 4. Finding the symbols. Pokémon designs rely heavily on a shared visual language. They reuse the same eye shapes, mouth, limbs, and expressions. We can take advantage of that. Go back to your Pokémon references and make a copy of the different common elements you see repeated, especially the face, which is super important for cute monsters and is the one thing that is reused over and over again. You're not copying the whole thing, you're just building a library of reusable parts that define that style. There is no need to be super accurate here. These elements will be adjusted later anyway to fit your design. What's important is to learn and memorize the different symbols that the style uses. Step 5. Making the final drawing. Now it's time to bring everything together. Take your chosen base shapes, lower their opacity, and lock them. Then draw the final lines on top. Use your library of body parts you copied earlier and place them on top and adjust them to match your shapes. Try different body parts and see what sticks and what doesn't. That's the reason you want a library of assets, to test different ideas and reiterate on one idea or the other. This stage can be a bit of a trial and error, but if all the other pieces are there, the design should come up eventually. Of course, don't be afraid of searching for even more references if you feel like you don't have enough. Worst case scenario, just go back a couple of steps and find another photo to trace over the main shapes and start again. And after finishing the drawings and adding color, lighting and shadow, I present to you Lemian, Munra and Hunra, and Woolpillar. I'm pretty happy with the results. Of course, like always, I feel like they could use another pass, but for now they work. They are ready to be brought into the game project and eventually be transformed into a proper wild encounter Pokemon. But if you'd like to see the next step, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And don't forget to check out last week's video, where I started building the Pokémon-Style game, and like and comment that video as well. I'm definitely waiting for your feedback to know if I should continue with this project or not. Also, if you're serious about drawing in Inkscape, check out my 13 courses bundle. It now includes a 30-day program to help you complete over 70 hours of content in an easy, structured way. Link is in the description. That's it for now. See you in the next video. Bye!